Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Stardom. I've got a special guest with me today, Scott Hall, not the wrestler, the comedian. How the hell are you, man?
I'm great, brother. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, of course, dude. So do you get confused? Do people ask you if you're the wrestler ever online?
All day, every day, my entire life. I was in the army for a very short time after high school, and I caught a lot of shit then. I think that's probably where I got most of it was drill sergeants. But
Oh,
yeah,
no shit.
it was either the wrestler or the fucking Scotty doesn't know song. It was either that all the time.
That's good.
Yeah.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do, man.
I'm a stand-up. I do stand-up. I'm out here in New York, originally from DC. I also have a podcast also.
Mhm.
That's called the Scott Hall Show. It's a little bit more, I think, serious. We have some lovey-dovey conversations on there. I've had a couple people like Daryl Davis, a couple UFC fighters. But I think it's more of like a self-evaluation lovey-dovey podcast. I also do some solo episodes. And then I make cool shit for the internet, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, man, that's all what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, it's never really been about the views for me. I do check the analytics every now and then, but I mean, I just enjoy doing it. You know,
That's one thing I've had to like realize, and I don't know, like, if you said you just started doing it too, which I wish I had. I don't know. We can go back to that, but the first big guest I remember I got like Daryl Davis on. It was just like this big, like 4,000 or 5,000 people, and I'd never really had anything like that before. And it was, I mean, you hit like a few with your friends in the comedy community, and you get one big one. You're like, all right, I made it. You're like, this is it. Like, I'm just a podcaster now. And then you put out the one after that, and then nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Hashtags and whatever other fucking, I don't know. It's all hashtags. I feel like that's what the analytics is all about.
Yeah, it's that, and just having people on that are hot at the moment or the topic or whatever. But you saying that you're just having fun is like, I literally like 2 weeks ago had to, because in New York and doing stand up, and I'm sure podcasting, like, you hit a point where you're like, it is work.
Mm-hmm.
It's for sure work, and you can start to feel bad about like not doing well or not putting out enough stuff, or your things aren't getting enough attention. And I remember like probably like a week ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I just woke up one day and I was like, oh yeah, I started doing this because it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I used to have fun doing podcasts and doing stand-up, and now I'm like, oh god, this fucking joke, that joke. So it's cool. So it's cool to be back in that place. Yeah.
But so you do a lot of repeat jokes, or I mean, like,
no.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you get caught up in that at all, or no?
No, my to a fault though.
Yeah. Well, you did say you live with two other comedians. So
I was gonna, yeah, one of my roommates is like he writes all of his jokes. He works on like chunks, and he'll have a joke and he'll write it, and he'll do that like 3 or 4 times and know how he wants it. He'll change around punches and words and stuff. And I tell him this all the time: is I love making people laugh, but I fucking hate telling jokes. And like, I know that's like not the right thing to say, but I like crowd work and I like riffing and I like all that stuff. So there's a balance, but I definitely have a hard time with like repeating jokes.
Yeah,
to a fault, for sure.
Well, that makes sense. Like, that's like if I catch myself on one of the episodes talking about something I talked about on another episode, I'm like, do I really want to talk about it again?
Yeah, but you're allowed, and people want to hear it. And also, if you're doing stand-up, if you ever do stand-up, I encourage you to. Mm-hmm. Definitely, if you think you're funny, do an open mic, go do something, dude. But you have to try your jokes over and over again. That's just how it works. I'm just lazy. I've been lazy.
I always thought it'd be cool to, if I got to a point where I was having bigger name guests, like I've got Wee Man on in like 2 weeks from Jackass.
Awesome.
But like reaching out to like local bars and stuff that have like little rooms off to the side, and like promoting that show and doing it live there. And having people come and just like be able to come on and ask questions and stuff like that,
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. That's the one thing that I haven't done is a live podcast. That's definitely on my list. That sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, you're like my 35th episode.
so what, man? Shoot for the stars, then just do it early.
I do. I have other friends that podcast and like they're like too nervous to reach out to people, and I'm like, dude, that's the whole point of the show.
Yeah,
unless you're just a solo thing, like that's different. But
Well, when you got was Bob Levy. Like, who's your first big guest that you consider like your
Larry Hankin, I would say, was my first big guest. He's just that face that like he's like, who's that? And then he comes on and you're like, that guy, I've seen him everywhere,
Yeah.
He's done stuff with. He's also on Friends. He's the angry neighbor in Friends. The old man.
Oh my God, that guy. The guy who's like all like he's always wearing a robe in Friends.
That's him. Yeah.
My God. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
He played in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He was a taxi driver in that.
Wow, that's awesome. How'd you feel when you got him though?
It was good, man. So I realized that some people that are at that level love to talk.
Yeah.
And I always told myself I'm not going to steer from my niche for my show, And so I had like 10 of my topic stories picked, and I read like 3 of them because he just loved to talk, which is fine. But yeah, dude, it was a good time. It was hard to get him off of the show, to be honest, because like towards the end when I was trying to wrap up, he just kept wanting to talk.
That's a good problem to have, though. It probably felt great though to get like a first like.
Oh yeah, and Bob Levy was hilarious too, man.
Of course.
He doesn't care what you think, so he'll say the most outrageous shit.
I like that.
I did one of the things was like a guy saw somebody driving by with cucumber hanging out the car window that had a condom on it. And the first thing he says is, well, what kind of car was he driving?
Yeah.
Stupid shit.
Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Oh, I like that.
So it was good, man. It's nice. And I've noticed that being like a comedy podcast, nothing against like the celebrities, like I've had some C-grade, C-list actors and actresses on, which were great. And a couple of them were really good. But
sure
some of them aren't as funny.
Actor.
Well, they are. They know they are.
Fuck them. Yeah.
We all know. No,
I hope they don't. I so hope they don't. I'm so
BC list. I mean, Darren
Darren
Daller's got like Netflix stuff. He's on Amazon Prime. He was a singer for Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Okay.
I've had him on a couple times. But yeah, man, it's fun. I just enjoy doing it.
That's awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
All right, so for the topic, let's get into this. I went on Twitter this time and I found just random posts that people put on, and I threw in some funny roommate stories too, because I figured, you live with a bunch of roommates. So.
Yeah, I do. I do have roommates. That's for goddamn sure.
But I was listening to that episode where the dude had he lived with 13 people.
Yeah, Torrey Huggins.
That's insane.
He's a very good comedian out here. When he initially moved here, they signed a place and then they all had to split up just because of some arguments that have nothing to do with him. And then he had to get like a month-to-month place. And yeah, it was an Airbnb, a 2-bedroom Airbnb that was subleasing underneath. So you pay Airbnb, and then the lady, once you got there, was like, if you just don't use the app and you just give me $30, you can all stay here. There's 13 people in a 2-bedroom. He said he lived in the kitchen
stupid.
for like 2 months. That's crazy, man. But New York's like that. That does not surprise me at all.
Well, yeah, was it like $2,500 for a little studio, 760 feet?
Insane. It's insane out here, dude.
Shit, I live in a 4-bedroom, 2.5 townhouse. I bought it for $151,000.
All right, no need to brag, dickhead.
I'm just saying the cost of living difference between here and there is stupid.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah. Anyways, let's get into this first story. You ready?
Yeah.
So I meant to say, oh crap, I left my phone in my car. But what I almost said was, oh no, I left my cone in my far. And damn, would that have been embarrassing. But I caught myself, and what I actually said was, my fart cone.
Oh my God. My immediate reaction to that is I hate it. And I don't.
Well, how many times do people like walk by and they're like, hey, how you doing? And you're like, oh, see you later. Or, just
of course.
You catch yourself saying stupid off the wall shit.
Yeah, of course. I don't like just the opposite. Like, yeah. I don't know. Someone type that. What is that?
It's Twitter, man. I just find posts. I never add the people in there or anything. I just read what they say.
Well, I want to shame this person. That's what I want to do. I know that like you were like, oh, isn't it weird that people? I understand.
No,
and it's like I know sometimes we all misspeak, but
this might
not be wrong. Yes, of course I do that, but Of course I do that. I've said bye when people are like hello, and I've done all that stuff. But my immediate reaction to reading that is I want to kill the person who put that on Twitter.
Yeah, that's the biggest. Yeah, like why do you put I people who post their drama or the things that they fucked up and did? It's like, why are you announcing that you're a fuck up?
Yeah, but not only that, like you don't have to share that.
Yeah, it's just random.
It's fine. It's cute. Yeah. It's cute. Yeah, I like it. But also, fuck that guy for putting that. Like, I don't need to know that about your life. Yeah, say something. Yeah. Look, on your level of interesting, I don't know. You literally were just talking about how Bob Levy was talking about a cucumber out of a condom out of a car window, and then this guy's like, one time I said something wrong. It's like, all right, dude. Do you have a girlfriend? You married?
I'm married, man. You got 2 kids.
Does your wife ever come like tell you a story and you're like, all right, man, like this?
No, she hates.
You're like, I talked to Bob Levy today. I don't give a shit about.
She doesn't give a fuck, man. She hates talk radio. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go do a show. She'll roll her eyes. Like, all right, man.
Okay, well, I like that. I kind of like that. I mean, that's reality.
It is. No, and I told her, I was like, you don't have to like my talk radio, but if I start making money, then you're gonna have to help me.
I'll tell you
I work 50-hour weeks, so it's like I have to, I won't have time to manage that part of it.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I had a girl for 4 years, and when I started doing this, it all just started going. Yeah. She was with me when I started stand up, and then eventually, like, she's like, "You just do podcasts all day and smoke weed, and then you're out at night." And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "I don't want to do that." I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
You knew this from the get go. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Right,
sorry. Read it again.
You want me to read the same one again?
I'm gonna try. I want to try it again, unless you have a bunch. It's your show.
I have 9 of them, so let's just read the next one because you clearly weren't that interested in that
one. I'm interested in the person who typed that.
I guess you could look it up after we're done. I don't know.
Maybe I will.
So I meant to say, oh crap, I left my phone in my car. But what I almost said was, oh no, I left my cone in my far. And damn, wouldn't that have been embarrassing? But I caught myself, and what I actually said was, my fart cone.
Okay. All right. I heard it better. He's doing like a bit. All right.
That's a stupid bit. It's more like for a kid. I mean, that's more like kid related humor.
It would make me laugh if someone said that to me. That would make me laugh.
Oh yeah, if they just told you, if you're like working at the bar and like the other bartender next to you told you that, you'd probably laugh.
Yeah, of course I would laugh. But in the interest of me staying honest to myself, I'm gonna stick with my initial fuck that guy.
Yeah.
It's for the sake of comedy.
The fact that this ended up on several blogs.
What?
This was on several blogs. And I hate the one thing about my show that sucks is you have to weed out the decent ones, because like you'll find the real popular trending stories that people post on like 30 different blogs, and it's like, well, I don't want to do that. So I like Reddit's a good one for me because but I really have to search,
I love Reddit.
Yeah, it's fun, dude. It's the whole reason I started this was between my wife reading comments on TikTok, and or like she loves Amazon, so she'll read comments on stupid shit on Amazon, and I'd always crack up. So between that and the stupid shit I hear people say at my work, I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna do a show about it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. No, This is a great premise.
Yeah.
Sure. Still fuck that guy who tweeted that.
All right, next one. I woke up to my roommate reading Bible verses over me because she heard me snoring so loud that she thought I was speaking in tongues the night before. I was actually in bed talking to my family in my native language and didn't want to disturb her.
Does she speak? Did it say what he speaks?
No, they looked middle. There was like a little picture next to them, and they looked Middle Eastern. So
I thought you were gonna. I thought as soon as you started saying Middle Eastern, then you went to then you finished like explaining what's happening. I thought you were gonna bail on Middle East. I thought you were gonna be like Middle.
I've said some pretty offensive shit on my show, so I don't care if I offend people.
Well, you can't. Like, I thought you were gonna bail, and then I was gonna get to point it out. I was gonna be like, "Don't be a bitch."
No, I'm not. it would kind of defeat the purpose of the comedy aspect if I wasn't.
I agree. All right.
Do you speak any other languages?
I speak like kitchen Spanish.
Same here.
You know what I mean? Like pretty much fluently because you kind of have to. But if they wanted to talk to me about their kids or something, I probably couldn't. I'd have no idea what they were talking about.
I heard you say hola. I know that part.
Yeah. I know hola. I know how to say carne. I understand that. And then when you're mad, I can tell. Yeah. I don't speak any other languages, but I can tell when a Spanish guy's upset with me.
This is something funny that I have mentioned before working in the restaurants. Is there was always most of the restaurants I worked at, the kitchen staff had their own bathroom, and I would go in there. And there would always be like lines of Coke or like residue on the back of the toilet. And I'd always be like, dude, you guys aren't being like, that's not clean. Like, I don't care that you're doing it, but you're on the back of a toilet, dude.
You're doing it wrong, though.
Yes.
Use my bathroom.
Yeah. Go in the office, man, or something.
Dude, I had it bad. When I quit the restaurant stuff, I was probably doing like 2 8-balls a week. It was bad. Like I kept Coke in my pocket and I had a bottle of vodka in my briefcase at all time. It was awful, and the staff knew. Like I'd go back into the kitchen and I'd go back into the bathroom and I'd come out of it and play back, and then I'll be like, It's like you can't be anybody's boss at that. You can't tell anybody shit.
I remember I had a guy, one of the cooks. He made brownies, weed brownies, and he gave me one day, and he's like, "Only take a quarter of it, man." I'm like, fuck, dude, I smoke 24/7. I'm good. Yeah. I ate half of it. It's like a Friday, not even dinner rush. And like 30 minutes into it, it's probably like 4:30. So it's getting ready to start picking up. And it hits me. Yeah. And I couldn't even fucking see. I don't know if you've done edibles, but when there's a point where you eat too much and then you're like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, you can't go back.
Dude, and we got so slammed, and I remember like I ended up having one of the bartenders take over for me. I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to manage the rest, and I'm going home.
I've had that happen 2 times. I've done edibles, of course. I've done almost everything, but one time I went to Denver for a trip with the lady that I was with before I broke up with her. We broke up. But we were in Denver and we were coming back, and I bought a bunch of stuff there, and like I was like, oh, like what do I do? And I was like, fuck it, I'll just take it before I get on the plane. And it was like maybe this much like oil, like just like THC oil that you're supposed to put underneath your tongue. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just drink it. That, and then also like these powdered things that you like put in drinks, like 3 or 4 of them. And I really felt like I was speaking in tongues. I felt like I was possessed. It was horrible. It was horrible. I'm not doing a bit. I didn't know I was going to say that before.
See, that's the whole point, man.
But it was, I know. It's all coming together, dude. But I felt fucking terrible. I got on the plane and I was sitting next to a stranger. And it was one of those things where, like, when you take too much edibles, like, it does make you tired, but you're tripping. Like, you're not there. But you're like in and out of sleep. It was like one of those, and I was pouring sweat, and I would wake up every like 20-30 minutes and like not know what was going on. I was so scared the lady next to me was gonna like say something. Like I'm sure it just looked like
sure. They knew you're on something.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I'm sure I looked just like a tired guy, and I was freaking out. But that was a bad one. And then I had another one where I had a busboy when I was managing one time. It was just us and the bartenders, and he had a blunt, and he asked me if I wanted to go smoke out back, and I was like, yeah, of course. And I hit it, and he was like, it's strong though, and I was like, okay. And I hit it, and it was like K2 or Salvia or something, and I took some giant hit, and I had like, I don't know if you've ever done that stuff, but it's not
Salvia. I almost did because I was in a truck full with a bunch of other dudes.
Yeah,
and we're driving in Kansas.
That's when you do Salvia.
We're out in the middle of nowhere, and so we're starting to hit it. We're driving into the city, so by the time we got to the city, everybody had been hitting it, and I was still kind of sketchy about it. And then I kind of coaxed myself, yeah, I'll do it. But we get into the city. We're at this intersection. It's raining outside, and the dude in the passenger seat, out of nowhere, gets out of the car, walks in the middle of the intersection for like 2 minutes, just like oblivious to what's going on. Gets back in the car, and he's like, dude, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds about right. Yes, that's exactly. I hit it, and then I had to go downstairs, and I laid in like the beer cooler for like 15 minutes. Literally laid like on the ground because I was like, I can't do anything right now. Like I thought I was gonna die.
This is really hilarious because I never would have done this had the situation been any different. But I was living in Colorado, and I just got there. So like the day of, I meet up with my roommate because he moved there a few years back, and I was like, yeah, we'll fucking get a place together. And his girlfriend and him had a party to go to, so they're like, we'll meet up, we'll go to the hotel, you drop your shit off, and then we'll go back to the party. So we're smoking a bowl on the way to the hotel room, and on the way back to the party, we get pulled over, and of course the car reeked of pot. Neither one of us had a license at the time. This was 2011, so shit wasn't all legal yet.
Oh man.
And so if you didn't have a license, you weren't supposed to be smoking. So the car reeked. They searched the car. Mind you, it wasn't even my car. It was somebody else's car. They book me, or they arrest me. They take me to this hospital like north of the city. Just got here, so I have no fucking clue where I am.
Yeah.
They make me piss. They say, all right, here's your court date. I leave. Well, like 2 months later, when the court was supposed to be, I called the courthouse to confirm it, and they're like, no, you don't. You're not in our system. Well, I called the wrong court. So like I'm driving to work a month later, I get arrested, and they booked my court date for like 6 weeks out. So I'm sitting in jail for 5 weeks, and about 2 weeks into it, I make friends with this crackhead, this older crackhead dude.
I spent a year in jail, dude. I get making friends with crackheads, dude.
He was the nicest guy. He was just
of course. Well, he's not on crack. All crackheads are nice when they're not on crack. That's how it works.
He's like, you shouldn't be in here, man. I'm like, I know, man. I really shouldn't. But
doesn't that make you feel better though when the bad people are like, yeah, but you don't belong. You're like, I know.
Yeah. And I got along with everybody fine. I mean, there were some fucked up people I avoided because they were clearly just didn't give a fuck about you. They'd kill you if they could. But so he gets transferred to another cell block. Right after he tells me, "Oh, I'll bail you out," and I'm like, "Well, there goes that. That's out the window." So I'm sitting at my block, and like 3 days later, I get this call, and they're like, "Hey, pack up your shit. You're getting out of here." It's like 9:00 at night. The crackhead and his girlfriend are waiting outside to pick me up, and she like runs up and gives me this big hug and whatever. The dude's like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, but I can't take you to your place tonight. I'll take you in the morning. So just come back to my house." So we're shooting pool at his house, and he hands me the pipe. It's like, "Hey, you want to hit?" I'm like, dude, you helped me out so much. Fuck it. So I take this big hit.
What kind of logic is that?
Well, I would have never done crack if it wasn't for the dude was so nice. I just didn't.
Stupid thing to say.
And
you want to try some crack? Well, you did help me out, so I'll smoke. Yes, doing him a favor.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so I go outside. It hits me, and like for 8 minutes, I had probably the most intense high ever.
How is it?
It was good. Like it was except everything was like shapes. So everything I looked at, I could see like a triangle or squares or whatever. So
like fractals, like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah. So I'm outside. It's clear.
Oh, that's
kind
of like what acid is.
I'm looking at the stars and shit, and looking at all these shapes, and then it goes away. So like 12 minutes into it, high's gone, and I just get this terrible migraine for like a day and a half.
Sounds awesome.
That's why they get addicted, because they don't want that migraine.
Oh man, dude. Hey, you want to try some crack? Well, you are a good friend.
Yeah, you were pretty helpful. Sure, fuck it.
Oh my god,
I wouldn't have done it if it was any other situation.
It's a fine. I did when I was in jail. I was in there for a year, and you might know, but you had weekenders that would come in and you'd lip stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, because they would sleep all weekend because they didn't have TVs or magazines. They couldn't really play poker. So they would be in the drunk tanks all weekend, and they'd lip stuff. So I figured like anytime we got anything, it was all white powder. I figured it was like a sleeping pill or something. One day my bunkie, he go, "Hey man, do you want to toot?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do a line. I don't give a fuck." And I figured it's a sleeping pill. Like they give like generic, like if you do Xanax, they'll give you the same thing. And I snort it and it burns. It's like fucking like fire. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like it hurt. He told me it's like chalky. And it turns out it was meth. And he was like, well, you never done meth before? And I was like, good God, dude. Like what an asshole. Also, what a terrible place to do meth. Like, dude, we have nothing to do. Like, why do you what the fuck were you thinking? It was horrible. I don't know if I got a headache. I can't remember, but
yeah, well, I mean, how long ago was that?
Oh man, 4 or 5 years, long time ago.
How old are you? You look like you're probably about my age.
I'm 31. How old are you?
33.
Please, you piece of shit. I'm young, okay? I'm in New York. I just stand. I'm 22,
it's this,
dude.
It's this. It's all this. You got this going on.
Yeah. It's gray now, though.
Mine goes white. I got these like long white strings in it and shit. But I'm growing it out. You know, they threw me in the kitchen about a year ago, and I was like, no, actually, it's more like 4 months ago. But anyways, my wife
feels like a year.
Are you gonna get rid of this? And I was like, no, because she wanted me to grow it out. So like, yeah, fuck it, I'll grow it out.
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna stick with it. We'll see what happens.
I like it. Hold on, I want to go back to the religion thing.
Okay, let's do it.
Dude, that's real.
I mean, it's somebody posted
it's online, right? I know I've made you the arbiter of truth, but
it's hard to tell. I mean, you never know. Like,
are you religious?
I grew up Pentecostal. I'm not at all now. I'm spiritual. Like, I believe that there's, you have an energy inside you, but I don't know where you go afterwards.
You believe in karma? You believe in karma? Like, if someone helps you out, you'll smoke crack with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The
it's
universe,
that energy,
man.
That's just man-made energy is what it is.
I just think that, like, praying over someone who's sleeping because they're speaking a different language and you thought they were speaking in tongues sounds exactly like something a religious person would do.
Yes, and I grew up Pentecostal, so I'd go to church 4 days a week, and like if you weren't speaking in tongues, then you weren't cleansed. So like they tried to force you to fucking like.
Did you speak in tongues?
I did it once, and I faked it just so that they would leave me alone.
It's the universe, man. You used to do that. Now your wife does it.
No, so I actually don't even. I don't even talk to my.
So you'll leave her alone. It's a sex joke.
No, it's more of like a. Hey, did you see this on Twitter?
Yeah.
Are you done yet? I'm just gonna search on my.
Are you done yet? I've gotten that. My ex, I've told this story too much, and I'd probably talk about it too much because she's a sweet girl and we're still friends. But she was asexual like halfway through our relationship. So 4 years, 2 years of it, we did no sex, no nothing. Just
try being married for 6 years, man. You have a
yeah. On your face while I was saying that, you were kind of like, yeah. I saw your face. Like, shut up, stupid.
It's not that bad, but when you have kids running around the house,
I can't imagine.
It's just not, it's not the same. But
can I direct your show again?
I don't give a shit, do that. I don't care.
Just tell me more about your speaking in tongues. It's very interesting.
Okay, so like I said, like Pentecostal, I couldn't go to school. Like when I went to school, everything I learned was kind of the church kind of decided what I could and couldn't learn. I couldn't watch TV, I couldn't listen to the radio, couldn't wear jeans, and of course we weren't like die hard on that, but like jeans? I don't know. It's
okay. Go ahead.
I have no idea why. I still don't to this day.
Yeah.
So we did that for about 7 years that I can remember. And the funny thing was my mom was married to my stepdad. So I would do that. I'd go to church 4 days a week, then come home and get beat by my stepdad. So,
just like God intended.
Yes. Yeah. No. And the funniest thing is like he was like a cokehead construction worker, and like he would he would play like some of the characters in the church play. So like it was the most hypocritical lifestyle as a kid. So that's why I'm not so into it anymore, man.
That sounds about right.
It's
oh my god.
And they're the most hypocritical people too. They're judgmental. Like my family would go to a service and leave and like, did you see what that person was wearing? I can't believe they wore that to church, or like just stupid shit. And it's never about the drama's never on them. They always have to redirect it on other people.
Yes. Yeah. So, my friend is I don't know. He says he's in one of those families where they all pretend to, they say great. They all say God is good all the time, but they never bring it up otherwise. It's like one of those, and they'll go to church like around the holidays. And I remember I went to church with him one time and saw his extended family, and I've known him since 2nd grade. And I remember I showed up once, and it was like, he's like, aunt. It's like, oh, like, yeah, I haven't seen you like here before. And I was like, yeah, I kind of went to church when I was younger. Like, I don't really go anymore. She, well, what happened? It was like a grilling. Like, what happened in your life? Like, what did you do wrong that you had it? And I was like, all right, shut up, lady. Like, you're all assholes. Like, I know now. I see now.
Do you believe there's a hell? Do you think there's hell?
No, I don't know. This is hell. this is life is hell.
Well, here's my idea of it. What is hell? Like, what is, and when you go to church, what do they preach that hell is?
It's you have to sit in a room and watch Carlos Mencia on a.
It's pain. I mean, it's like pain.
Yeah, suffering.
It's just suffering. Well, that's all processed through your brain. It's not your energy that processes this. You understand it. So if you die, that would mean that you can't process that because you're not in a physical form. So how could hell exist? You know?
Yes. Oh, I like that.
So that's my mindset on it. You know, like I believe the universe is massive and there could be other life forms, and I think that our energies can maybe transfer between lives and planets, even because why not? The universe is that massive. So
yeah. Well, I think I do believe in some kind of an energy, and I do think that like this is gonna sound hippy dippy, but I do think that like love is like a form of like magic. Like when you are loving to like a stranger, or you know, man, everyone as manly as people are, like as unconnected as people are, like you have moments with people, especially like strangers, that I can point to in my life that have just been like, I don't know, you just don't feel like that when you have a genuine connection.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons I stopped drinking, is to like experience more life. Like, and I feel like when you do, it's like I don't know what this is, but it's not nothing. Do you know what I mean? You do mushrooms, acid, any of that stuff. You realize
I've done mushrooms. I love mushrooms, man.
Yeah, you realize that it's something other than what it is. But I'll tell you what, it's not any of these things that like some asshole wrote in a book that tells you to be a dick to other people. Like they're all It's like based on where you live.
If you really think about it, God's an asshole, man. He's very judgmental. He's very judgmental. And you know, if he exists, whatever, he could be a great guy, but he's still an asshole.
That makes me like him more. That's the best case to get me to be religious. Just be like, look, God's a dick. It's like, all right.
Every presidents, kings, you know, whatever, they've all been assholes in some way. You know, it's just the way it is. You got to run. That's how you run it. But I always thought it'd be funny to do like a Pixar film and like have like some alien kid in the science class have to create a planet, and that's how Earth got started. You know?
Oh, I like that. I like these theories. Yeah, for sure. I think about all the time like what it is. Well, it's like the biggest assholes are the people that are convinced they know what happens and like why we're hearing all this stuff. It's like, do you really know? Do you really know? Or are you doing crack on the construction site and beating your kid after? You know, like
and they go on and playing Jesus on the stage in church.
Yeah, you don't fucking know, dude. Nobody knows.
Nah, dude. Some of my best experiences and memories have been just off the wall, whether either drug, like smoking pot. I've had some great smoking pot times, man. I could tell you stories for days about smoking pot with people that I've never even met and had a great time.
I drank a beer from a homeless guy one time.
I don't know about that one.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's because you're not a gangster, dude. You don't live life.
I mean, I'm not in New York. Are you in New York?
I'm in New York now, yeah. This was in DC. I was like, I can't remember what night it was. It was like a Friday night. And I was just walking through like a busy part of DC. And I think I was smoking like a J or something. And I went to, it was in DuPont Circle. And I walked through like the circle. It was all homeless people. At the end of the night, that's kind of where like they all slept. And he was just like, let me hit that. And I was like, all right. And he fucking opened his coat and he had like a 40. And he was like, you want to sip? And I was like, I was having like a rough time. I was still drinking at the time, and I was like, yeah, fuck it. This is the human connection I'm talking about. Shut up. You smoke crack from a guy.
No, and it's funny. I'm laughing because of similar experiences.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking.
All right, let me get this next story out of the way.
Yes, okay? Please.
I witnessed a guy I was working with get stung on the upper leg by a wasp. He slapped the wasp with his hand. He was holding a hammer in that hand.
Oh, man.
That's all I put. So I don't know what happened, if he shattered any bone or anything.
Oh, I've definitely done stuff like that, though.
I have too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most like handyman. Like I'll YouTube shit and then do it myself. But like I'm fucking clumsy with a hammer.
I'm so lazy. I like to do things. Here's the thing, is like I'll fix like a socket or like jerry rig something, but it'll take like 2 hours for me to work up the strength to be like, just YouTube it and do it yourself. Like I'll kind of like bitch and moan and mope for a while, and then I'll figure it out.
Go ahead.
No,
one of our guest bathrooms, the toilet runs like it don't stop, so you have to like go turn it off. And we'll be watching a movie, and my wife will be like, "It's still running," and I'm like, "I'll get it after the movie's over."
Yeah. I don't care. The last place I lived with my ex, we had curtains in our bedroom because we had like a balcony or whatever, and I hung the curtains because of the way like the right outside of the thing there was like a vent, so you couldn't put any nails in the wall for the curtain like hanger. So I just duct taped it. I just literally wrapped pieces of duct tape around the ends of the pole and stuck it to the thing. And it was like that for like 2 years. And it would fall every now and then, and I would just get more duct tape and put it.
My mother-in-law lives with us, right? And we moved into this townhouse like 2 years ago, and I was driving the 16-foot U-Haul, and I'm not great with huge trucks. And I drove it for like 19 hours, just hauls back and forth. And it was like 5 a.m, last load. I'm coming back here, and her car is like on the side street, so I can get in the driveway. And I fucking like clipped the front fender of her car and ripped the whole thing off in her left tail or her left light and shit. And she's like, "Oh man, you're gonna have to fix that." So I went and bought some black duct tape, and I just duct taped it all back. And that was 2 years ago, and it's still like that.
Hey, if it works, it works, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's whatever.
I like that.
It's like fuck it. It's a 2000.
What did she say? You were like, "I gotta put you duct tape." Okay, thank you.
I mean, she still bitches about it, but like, it's not it drives fine.
I love when people complain. I just like when people are upset.
Dude. The funniest thing where I work, and when I'm live, I don't like talking about where I work so much, just in case if I get bigger or whatever, which I imagine it will at some point. But
tell me exactly where you are.
Here, let me get your address real quick.
Let's post it on the bottom.
And people will complain about the dumbest shit, and then I'll talk like a baby to them, like, "Oh,
like they're a child.
I'm so sorry about that. Have a wonderful day." And I won't even help them with the problem because they're just complete assholes.
Yeah, I like that. Sometimes you have to let people know they're being like children.
Well, the best ones are the ones that come in because they make up this like lie in their head to return something or whatever. So they'll tell you this lie, they'll be all like pissed and livid, and then like you play along with it. You like do what they ask, and then they're confused on what to do because they expect you to react a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's when I was in the restaurant, it's like I love people that are infuriated. I like mad people. I'm nice to them, and then they don't know what to do.
Yes.
People who like really want to have a bad time, and you care. You're like, it's okay. Like, I got you. Like, you don't freak out, and then they're like, what? Like, they're so confused because they wanted to be mad, but then you didn't let them be mad, so then they're even more mad, which is great. But then they can't be mad at you. Then they leave. And it's like, fucking
what
dude.
The fuck just happened, man?
They're so confused.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah, then they're like, I'm a dick, and then you win.
I mean, there's some people like, when you die, nobody's gonna be at your grave. Your funeral's just gonna be empty.
You've done that though. We've all done that. Like I'll sometimes go to work, and like, I don't know.
I've done it too.
Mood, like in a shit mood.
Yeah.
And then someone will say something, and I'll be like, God damn it! I have to like look at myself and be like, you're being a bitch. Like to myself.
Well,
why are you being such an asshole?
The other day I had an employee, like I said, I manage. So I had an employee, I'm like, "Hey, I need you to go to lunch by this time." Well, it was like 10 till that time. And I said, "Hey, go to lunch." And they look at the clock, and then they just keep working. So like 6 minutes later, I'm like, "Hey, I need you to go to lunch. We're about to get busy."
Yeah.
And she threw her shit down, and she's like, "You told me this time, and then like went to lunch, and everybody else in the kitchen's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
So she comes back from lunch, and she tries to avoid me, and I'm like, "No, hey, I need you to come back here." And I made her work with me the rest of the shift.
Yeah, hell yeah, I like that. We're gonna fix it, dude.
Yes,
that's like a real dad move.
Well,
that's a real dad.
I feel like to be a manager, especially like in a place where I work, like you have to you need people to respect you, but you don't want them to necessarily think you're their friend, So it's like, so when she came back there, I was like talking to her. I'm like, "You good? I don't really appreciate you doing, getting like attacking me. I told you to go to lunch. I wanted you needed to go to lunch. You can't really argue with me about it. You just need to go to lunch." And after that, it was fine. But like I made it attention, like I made sure she was aware that I wasn't cool with it, you know?
Yeah. Of course, there's such a thin line with that.
Yeah. And I feel like once you get up to a certain level, you almost have to be an asshole to people, though. Like I've had bosses that'll like be completely cool to somebody, and then they'll come to you afterwards and be like, "Hey, we gotta get rid of them."
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's just like at least people know where you stand, and you gotta, and then it makes your job easier too. There's no point like, I don't like any of that shit. Any of that like background. No, I've never been that guy.
I'm very to your face. Like I've had employees be like, "Hey, do you think because there's like a certain day window to where they decide if they're going to keep you or not, and if they don't want to keep you, they don't have to have a reason. They're just like, you're out." And this person came to me like, "Do you think they're going to keep me?" And I was like, "Look, you know, these are,
you suck.
Think of these, and here's several incidences where they wouldn't." And I straight up told them, I was like, "So I don't know. It's not my decision, but it's not looking great." You know?
Yeah.
You just gotta be straight with them, man.
Yeah, dude. I've had to. Go.
Let's do another one. My roommate had a pile of clothes on his bed and slept on top of the pile of clothes. He put all of his clothes in a bag, and the bag fell on the floor. I came home from work, and he was sleeping on the clothes on the floor.
Fuck yeah, dude. This guy gets it. I see no problem with this.
I took a college class in high school, and I was going to go do a 4-year program after high school, but I got a job immediately in a restaurant making pretty decent money. So I was like, fuck it, you know, because when you're working that field, experience is more what they go for anyway. And I'd already had that 2 years of experience in high school. So I was like, fuck it. So I took this sous chef job, and it was in a college town, and I like got a room. It was like this really nice ass house in a nice neighborhood, but like the rooms were rented out. And it was just me and one other guy, and dude, we were so fucking like we were the biggest slobs. We would have our clothes everywhere, like at the kitchen. We'd throw parties, and like it'd sit there for like 2 weeks, and then we'd be like, "All right, man, let's just fucking clean it." You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Our when I first moved here, actually, I'd never seen the apartment. I'd never actually been to New York City. I just. One of our roommates was up, who's a good buddy of mine, and he had been up here looking. We all kind of like COVID, all this stuff. And so when I got up here, I just had like literally trash bags full of clothes. And I slept on my clothes in a bag on the floor for probably like a couple days till I actually got like a bed frame and a mattress up here.
I've done that.
So that was exciting. Yeah.
When I moved to Colorado, I literally just slept on the floor with a pillow and a blanket. In an empty room for like 3 months. Yeah,
fuck yeah, dude. That's life, though. I like that.
It's fun though. I mean, the experiences I've had, you know, it was just I had the opportunity to transfer out to Colorado, so I just took it, man. You know,
well, so many people never do anything like that. I know these are. It's like, oh, this is funny, and then we're like, yeah, life. But I don't know, man. I know that that's not what that's about, but I do think that there's a lot of, I don't know. That's cool that you did that. I think so many people do so much less than they would in life because of dumb shit like that. They're just I don't want to sleep on the floor. It's like you could change your entire life, but you're not willing to sleep on the floor for like a week. Like that's so stupid. Like when you're 60, you're gonna regret that.
I've been in Kansas City pretty much my whole life, and then, or in the surrounding areas, and I've met so many people that never even left the city, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
you know, close to my age, and you know, I'm like, how have you never left? Like, not one time.
That's a lot of people, though. It's a lot of people, and I would assume like, I don't know, you start doing what your dad did, or like whatever whatever fucking is the thing to do in that area, and you never leave, and you're the same family and the same kids and the same these people know these people's mom and this people. I don't know, man. That always scared the shit out of me.
Have you ever met people and you're like, no, man, I gotta get out of here?
That's how I felt. That's how I felt in DC. I was like, I don't know. When I got here, there was like a weight lifted off me. I mean, it was kind of tough the first few months, like money and all this other shit. But I don't know, that I was itchy. I was just so itchy being like where I was, like running into people from high school. And the restaurant industry, it's like everybody knows everybody. And so like it was just constantly people that I knew, and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm about to hit 30, and I've never, I go, this can't be it. Like I can't stay here. I'm so itchy. Like I needed to leave. I really needed to leave. And I was just like I couldn't have. And I know that I'll feel like that again. Like I have this intense need to like go do things. Like I want to go do shit.
You don't want to settle down and have kids and that shit?
You know, I had a Tinder date tell me I swear to God, she was like, you seem like a...
That's the worst start to a story.
I know. I was on a Tinder date. And someone was telling me about the it's like you can either grow horizontally, which she was saying that I do, which is kind of like you move around and you gain things that way. Like, you know, you cover this area and then you go cover that area and this area. Or you can stay where you are and you can kind of build. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that about kids, and I don't know that I could be a good father or husband. One, that scares me because I had a shit childhood. I'm sure that scares you sometimes to be whether you're being a good father or not.
I don't even talk to my family anymore, man. I mean, my dad was always an asshole. Lived like 20 minutes away, but he was always too drunk to come do anything, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, like I said, my family was very religious, very like, and like a dinner with my family is like 50 people, you know? And then my wife comes from like a family of 4. You know, it's her brother, and her mom and her uncle that live here. The rest of them are all in like New York and shit. Mm-hmm. And they keep to themselves. So right off the bat, after we got married, my family just started like not liking her because they want to know all your drama. And she's like, no, it's not your business, you know? Yeah. And it just got worse from there. And then they started talking shit about her. And I'm like, I'm cutting you guys off. So I haven't talked to them in 2 years.
Wow, dude. They're still religious. They're still very powerful.
Yeah, they go to church. Well, they're not Pentecostal anymore. Now they're like non-denominational because, you know, as I've gotten older, my cousins became gay and lesbian. So they had to adapt because that wasn't okay in the Pentecostal. So I remember when my cousin came out being a lesbian, and they locked her in a room for 2 weeks and told her she couldn't be.
What?
Yeah.
Well, they locked her, like grounded, like you're
yeah, like you know, and she was 18. Like the fact that they did it was because she was too scared to tell them before she was 18. She's like, I'm an adult. Of course. So yeah, they locked her in a fucking room for like 2 weeks, told her she couldn't be.
Man, dude.
Mm-hmm. So now they're non-denominational. Now it's okay because I've got other cousins that came out being gay and stuff. But they're so fake, man. They just have to find a reason to make God like the only answer, and it's like, dude, you can't live life.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people are driven to do that? I've been listening to a lot of stuff lately.
People need direction.
Yeah, and a purpose.
And I feel like people don't. They're like wandering cows in a field. You know, I mean, they know they need to eat and they need to sleep, but if they don't have somebody tell them what to do, then they just fucking eat and sleep.
Yeah. Well, they'll freak out if they think that's all that. I find that like so many people won't even do this. They won't start a podcast. It's like just for them and have a thing like that you're growing towards and building. You have your work, you have your family, and then you got this thing that's like a purpose. You can see a future, and you got but it's like if you don't have that, you're like aimless. But it's like, oh, if you have God, then it's like, oh, it'll all be okay.
We have direction. We're gonna end when we die, we're going somewhere. We just have to follow Him.
So they just and also they just switched. They just he's gay. Well, we're not that anymore. Yeah, it's like, well, that's not how it works.
That's literally what they do. Like
man.
And then like they're the kind of people that'll work and then write a check for like 10% of whatever their work check was and give it to the church.
Wow.
And like they jump around churches. Like you're just giving money to these churches that you're not staying at. It's like, what the fuck?
But that's like here's some money so I can be an asshole. For real though, that's how it's like. I give money though, so me being a dick is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, yeah, I mean, I know. I have a comedian buddy who's a virgin. That's how much he believes that he's. Not that that's like a bad thing. He's my age and
more power to you, man. But you're missing out.
Yeah, that's true. But he tells me that he always tells me he's going to bring me to Jesus and show me Jesus, and I think all the time, and because he's a very nice guy, and there's sweet people that are religious and stuff, but I just can't fucking. I really can't wrap my head around. Like the older I get, I'm just like, I don't think it's good to believe that. I really don't think so.
Yeah. No, I understand that people need direction. So whatever.
I get it.
It's
I get it.
That's so stupid, in my opinion. Like to dedicate that much to something that is probably not that at all. Like,
yeah, not probably. Almost.
No, yeah. You're saying that this book was written by somebody who talked to somebody that isn't really here.
Yeah.
And like, so you don't even know that it's true. You're saying it is, but you don't know that. You don't. A human wrote that.
Yes. Not only that, but you're being an asshole to everybody else who even brings up anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what? You're so sure?
Well, and like the original Bible, like 30 fucking languages back or whatever, is like, God is this strict, stern, you do this kind of thing. Now it's not that way because people are offended by stuff. So they had to reinvent the wording and like all this shit. So now it's like
they're interpreting
God's
different and
walks around and pats people on the head and tells them they're doing a good job, you know?
Yeah. It's like, no, I think he would kill you for eating a shrimp, I think is what it said. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Which I know there's people that still go by the older stuff, and like Pentecostal, that was so strict. Like that was a cult, dude. That wasn't even like church. That was a cult.
I'm so interested in that.
It was.
You have no idea. How long were you? What? How old were you? Did you?
How
old were you when you started wearing jeans?
I remember we stopped going to Pentecostal church when I was like 12.
That's still a long time, dude.
So there's like 7 years I can remember going to church all the time, you know.
Oh, that sucks.
Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, my stepdad would beat. Like he'd come home, he was a dick, dude, and he'd fucking beat the shit out of me. I'd miss school for several days a week because he would beat me so bad, you know.
Wow. Wow.
So it's just
hell yeah, hilarious.
It's funny now because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, of course.
I want to be the nice person I am now. Like I'm blunt, but I'm nice. Like as long as you don't fucking treat me like shit, I'll get along with you, man. I do avoid people that I know I'm not going to get along with. There are people that I'm like, there's like overly feminine gay dudes. More power to you, man. You do you. We're not going to get along. I know we're not going to get like if you
just can't handle
wearing these like long ass like again, nothing against them. Do you? It's just awkward to me. That's
too much.
Yeah, too much energy.
Yeah.
You're trying too hard. I get that you're gay. That's fine. You know.
Yeah.
But that's so much.
Is there a lot of that in Kansas City?
Yeah, it's hit and miss. It's certain areas. Like I work with some gay guys, and they're all cool. I get along with them all fine. One of them even like wears eyeliner. Sometimes he'll wear a wig. Like during dress up days, he'll wear like a wig and like a bra. And even that's fine. But there's a point where it's too much, you know.
Yeah.
Like my wife and my mother-in-law want to go to like this drag bar downtown. You go ahead. I can't. I can't do it.
Dude, New York. Everyone's gay in New York. Everybody's gay here. 100% of the people here are gay.
Yeah, and
you move here, you end up gay. That's just how it works. We literally, you can't we'll walk down the street. I was walking down the street in Brooklyn not that long ago, and they were doing a drag show because things are closed inside, so now they have like a lot of places of outside like seating where they normally wouldn't. Mm-hmm. So there's a drag show like on the sidewalk, like literally a naked man, not even like a naked man wearing a strap on for some reason. I don't understand that. But a big guy wearing a strap on, and it's just like fucking, and he's like running down the sidewalk, and it's like bouncing, and there are children like walking by, and it's like going by their head, and it's like that's Brooklyn. And like I don't know what to do. I'm like, I guess that's fine. Like I guess a kid should see that. Like I don't know how like I don't know, man. Yeah. I'm not, you know. Like, what do you do?
I don't understand it. You know, I don't. And that's why there's a level where I'd rather avoid them than to confront them about something that they're going to give me a spiel about that I'm not going to understand. So just,
don't be too Pentecostal.
No. I'm like I said, you be you. I'm all about people being themselves. So if that's what you're into, cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine with it. I just don't I know that we're not going to get along. There's going to be way too much discussion of me not understanding or just,
Yeah. Well, it's cool that you are like a chill dude after all that bullshit. I feel like a lot of people, I consider myself the same things. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel pretty thankful for having kind of a shitty childhood. I didn't for a long time, but now I really appreciate when stuff's good. Like I don't know what it's like to have a family, like kids and a wife or anything like that. But I'm sure there are times where you're like, I never thought that I would ever have that. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you
like
have your moments.
Yeah.
I mean, well, who doesn't? Once you had a kid, once you've had a kid, like it's just
changes.
I was gonna do this, and it's not like a resentment thing. It's just like, man, I was gonna do this, and I didn't. It's like, well, I'll do it after the kids are grown up, or we'll do it with the kids when they're older. So it is what it is, man. I'm a very positive. Like I've even had people tell me that I should go see somebody because I'm such a positive person, and I'm like, I don't know that that's a good. I don't need to go see somebody because I'm a positive person.
Yeah. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I listen to death metal. Like I love death metal. Okay, and I'm like, that's probably why I'm such a nice guy. All my anger comes out when I listen to metal.
Hey, at least it's fun. It's better than beating your kids.
Yeah, no shit. I would never.
Or is it?
I believe, coming from an abusive childhood, I still think that spanking your kid is okay.
Yeah, I got.
When you leave bruises, like if you leave bruises, you did too much. Like there's no reason for you to be leaving bruises. You just want them to know that it wasn't right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I got hit a lot. I got a lot of verbally and a lot of this and that self-esteem stuff. But I think that if I'd rather, I'm glad I didn't get hit. None. I think I needed a little bit.
All right, man. So we only read like half of them, but we're hitting that 1 hour mark. We should definitely do this again though, because
I would love to,
dude. And yeah, dude. I mean, it's fun. I enjoy doing it. Like I said, the conversations that I have with people is so interesting because these topics, these stories that I write, direct kind of where the conversation sort of goes. So the guests end up talking about things they haven't talked about in years, or and it's fun, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't know that it was going to go that way, and literally before this started, you're like, yeah, I did this with this guy, and we only got to 3, and I'm like, yeah, not me, dude. Fucking here we are, 3 deep.
But yeah, dude, we'll definitely do this again. And I'm actually getting ready to start a game show podcast called Burn After Playing. And it's going to be like a segment-based game show where I do adult versions of kid games.
Oh, nice.
So just expect that to be coming in the next month or so. But we'll definitely be in touch. Is there anywhere I'm going to attach your Instagram and your YouTube channel? Is there anything else you need, or Twitter? You got a Twitter too, right?
No, I don't really do Twitter. My Twitter is just for arguing with people who I just want to. I just poke there. But you no need to follow me there. Just Scott Hall stand up on all the stuff. Check it out. Man. Dates, all that shit will be there.
All right, man. Hey, you have a good day. I gotta go get ready for work.
You too. I love you. Thank you for having me. I'll see you again, I'm sure, dude.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
All right, brother.
Later.
Peace.